Hi there, it's Karen at Corrie Papercrafts here. Welcome back to another Simple Sundays project, and it's really simple and really tiny toty as well. It's a tiny gift bag, and it measures 1.5 inches here, 1 inch here by 2 inches in height here. Really quick and easy to make, and I've used some new products to make it. So I made this using the gorgeous new Flowers for Every Season designer series paper. It's a 6x6 pack, which is in the new catalogue, which, as you're seeing, this will be launching in 3 days, on the 3rd of June. And it is just absolutely beautiful. The colours in it are amazing. It's really full of our new in colours, which I will show you just in a minute. I think this is one of my favourite designs, hence why I used it to make my little bag. But these are just beautiful colours. I know the flowers are quite big, but the colours just make it absolutely gorgeous. Some Christmassy looking ones there as well. So I think this is going to be very popular indeed. And the sentiment I stamped using the little Hey Friend out of the Itty Bitty Greetings stamp set. It's a cling stamp set, it's the red rubber type, and it's a two stamp set, so you get quite a lot of stamps in there, and this is carrying over into the new annual catalogue, I'm glad to say. So I've already got my little Hey Friend mounted on a block ready to stamp. Now the ribbon I've used here is one of our in colours. It's Magenta Madness, so a really striking pink, which is just beautiful. Not far from Melon Mambo, which is the colour I've used to stamp this, because our inks aren't available yet. Obviously, as demonstrators, we're allowed to pre-order a select few items, and the in colours are always part of that pre-order. But just with the way the world is at the moment, with our virus and delays in production and shipping and things, we don't have our inks yet. So I went for Melon Mambo, which is a pretty close match. Up close together, they don't quite look the same, but when it's separated from the rest of the pink, which is the Magenta Madness, I don't think it's too bad at all. So this time I'm going to make my bag in a different piece of paper, which I've lost. Nope, here it is right in front of me. I'm going to use this design this time, and it features quite a lot of our bumblebee. So I'm going to use that colour for the backing of my sentiment, and I'm going to use my bumblebee ribbon. But because I don't have the bumblebee ink, I'm actually going to stamp my Hello Friend in Daffodil Delight, just because I want to keep it nice and bright. So I'll pop that to the side just now, as I will with my card. And before I go any further, I'll just let you see again our new in colours. They are absolutely gorgeous. It's like a cotton weave ribbon. I'm not sure if you can see, it's like a sort of herringbone weave on that, and our colours are Magenta Madness, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee and Misty Moonlight, and I think these are going to be really popular too. So I'll keep my bumblebee ribbon beside the rest of my stuff, because that's what I'm going to use to make my little bag. So you'll need a piece of designer series paper which measures 3 inches by 5.5 inches, and the 3-inch part is the height that you'll need for your bag, so to speak. So you want your pattern, if it's directional, to be going along your 5.5-inch length. So when you've cut it, you want your pattern to be going up and down the way like that. So let's do a bit of scoring. So you're going to score at 1.5, 2.5, 4 and 5. And I've not cut this down, I've left that at 6 inches, so just let's take the scoreboard out for 2 seconds and just cut this down to 5.5 inches, because I just noticed that that end part was too long. Sorry for thumping the tripod there. So we've done our scoring along the long side, and then turn it round to the short side with your pattern facing up and down, the top being here and the bottom being here, and then we're going to score just at 1 inch for the bottom of the box. And then I'm going to bring it back round and I'm going to do a couple of part scores, and I'm not sure if you can see this, there's a score line here and a score line here, so this makes an inch section here and the same here, and we just want, these are the sides of our bag, and we just want some part scores to help that to push in at the sides here. So I'm going to do a part score at 2 inches, about halfway down towards that horizontal line there. It doesn't have to be exact, and the same at 4.5, about halfway down that section there, a halfway from the top to the score line that is. So fold and burnish all our score lines, and you'll get 2 of these from a piece of 6x6 DSP, which means you'll get 8, is that right, from a piece of 12x12 DSP if you're using a 12x12 sheet to make these in bulk for party favours or wedding favours or anything like that. I'm just making sure that that fold is straight. Okay, so it's not really easy to see the folds, I guess. So here are our folds here, here, here and here, and this is the little 1/2 inch section here. So with that being the bottom of our bag, as always, I'm going to remove this tiny rectangle here and just cut at an angle there and take a tiny little bit off the top. And in terms of waste, these 2 tiny pieces are all that you're going to be cutting away from this bag here, other than tiny wedges on the side flaps. So I'm going to cut up these score lines, keeping the straight edge on the larger rectangles and removing the score line onto these smaller squares, and I'm just going to wedge here and wedge here just a tiny little bit, and the same here, tiny wedge here, and oops, a tiny wedge here as well. Okay, so now to add my tape. So I'm going to add some tearing tape along this 1/2 inch section here, just next to the score line, and make sure I've got a nice straight edge. And as always, the front edge is always between the 2 side panels, so I know that this is the front of my box, oops, here, or my bag rather. And then that means that this is the back panel. So I'm just going to, now I think I'll put the back panel in first, and then the 2 side panels, and then the front panel. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to add a tiny little bit of tape to both of these side panels just to help hold them down, like so. I hate anything that's going to be waving about loose inside my bag or my box. So I'm going to remove the backing from the tearing tape and just bring this side over, and that's my bag put together. Okay, so I'm going to fold in the back panel and fold in my two sides and just make sure that they catch on the back panel as I fold them in. And then I've just got the front panel to pop down last of all, and that's it. Give that a little press with my paper folder, and then these part scores down each side just help to squeeze the bag together at the top, and I'm just making sure that I get my corners lined up quite even, and it gives you a nice shape on either side of the bag, but that score line just helped it to do that. And I'm going to come back in with my crocodile, and I'm going to pop a little hole in the middle of my bag about there. Oops. And then I'm going to thread my lovely bumblebee ribbon through and just leave enough to be able to tie that in a double knot. Oops. So I'm making sure that I've got my bag the right way round. So this is the front. Just going to tie it in a knot. I'm just going to do a double knot just towards the front, like so, and I'm hoping that this will turn out quite neat and the tails will go in the direction I want them to. That's not too bad at all. So I'm just going to cut here and here for the tails of my little bow, and then I'm going to grab a scrap of Whisper White card, and I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight ink with my Hey Friend, which I've already mounted on a block, and stamp that down. Come in with my 1 inch, oops, bit of card from a previous project, 1 inch circle punch, and just punch that out, keeping it kind of central. There we are. And if you've got any rough edges after you've punched that out, just smooth them down with your bone folder or your paper folder, like so. And then I'm just going to grab my champagne rhinestones, and I'm going to take the smallest size, I think it was, yep, and pop that in the middle at the bottom, like so. Then I'm going to grab my 1 1/8 inch scalloped circle punch, and again this is retiring, as is the 1 inch punch when the catalogue ends in a few days. So if you want those, I would order them now. Punch out my piece of bumblebee card, grab my liquid glue, add some onto the back of here, and then pop that onto my scalloped circle and just give it a second or two to take. There we are. And then I'm going to add a single dimensional to the back and pop that onto the front of my little bag, and that will be big enough to hold a sweetie or a couple of little sweeties and be nice just to gift to somebody as a just because present. So that's it for today's project. I hope you enjoyed that. I think they're really tiny toty but really cute. Hope you liked them. I hope you'll make your own, and I'd love to see them if you do. So thanks again for watching. I'm going to go and tidy up all my mess now. You would not believe the state of my craft desk. I can't see it for stuff. And until I see you next time, thanks for watching and stay well, stay safe, take care. Bye bye.